should stay right here. We should lay right here. Everything is okay right here.
Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a paranormal experience video. A lot of you guys say that you enjoy these videos, so I'm here with another one for you. Now today I'm going to be talking about the one and only time I have ever messed with a Ouija board. Now I know some of y'all are like, Vanessa, if you've been dealing with this ghost bullshit all your life, why are you gonna mess with a Ouija board? You know what you're doing, you know what gates you're messing with, and you know what? I knew, and the reason I did is because I'm a fucking idiot. Now, don't get me wrong, I will never touch it again because the consequences are not a cute look. So I'm gonna share with you guys what happened today, and if you enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe if you're not already, and you leave a like, and yeah, let's get started. So if you're new to my channel and you have no idea what I was talking about with the whole dealing with it your entire life, I have been dealing with paranormal experiences since I can remember. As a baby, whenever my mom would take photography of me, there was always a strange glare, like flash of light. No matter what camera she used, there would always be this weird like thing just hovering on top of me, and I'm not sure what it is. A lot of people say it might have been my guardian angel, or maybe it could have been my great-grandfather who passed away when I was little. So like, I really don't know who it was, because I was, of course, the first grandbaby, so maybe he was just watching over me, and maybe he still is, but I'm not completely sure yet. The psychic twins did tell me that I do have a couple angels surrounding me at all times, but they also saw ghosts. So, yeah. I have a couple other videos where I talk about waking up in the middle of the night and seeing black figures, sleep paralysis, all that different kind of stuff. Back in my parents' house, I would be going to sleep, and I had a closet door to my right of my bed, and at nighttime it would slowly open, and sometimes I would see a large black figure, sometimes with a hat, sometimes without a hat. So because of all that going on, I removed my door. Like, I literally removed my closet door and I put a curtain there, and I would close my curtain at night, and sometimes I would just wake up out of nowhere in the middle of the night and see the curtain move, or I would go to sleep with it closed because I would make sure it was closed every night, and I would wake up with it open. And I do not sleepwalk. I've made my family look at my brother would sometimes stay up longer than me or wake up before me, and like, no one has ever seen Vanessa sleepwalk. I don't sleepwalk. And I thought maybe when I moved out of my parents' house that it would kind of subside and kind of go away, but even when I moved to my first apartment, when I moved into a house, and then even when I moved all the way across the freaking desert to move to California, I still was dealing with it here. So something is actually latched onto me. But I'm gonna go ahead and make a playlist full of my paranormal experiences, and I'm gonna link it in the description below if you want to check those videos out, because I do have like Bloody Mary experiences, all these different things, just so you guys can kind of like get a gist of what is going on with me. So this Ouija board experience happened when I was living in the house that I just mentioned, not my parents' house, but after I moved out of my apartment, I started to rent a house, and I was staying there in Arizona. At the time, I was friends with a very, very toxic person. So one day we went to Glitter and Glow, which is like, well, I think it's called Glitter and Glow, or no, it's called Glendale Glitters now, but it's like this thing that is held in Glendale, Arizona, where they have like all these lights, all these like pretty sparkly things, and the Santa's there, and there's a lot of food, different candies and stuff. It's like a winter festival kind of thing. And in Glendale, if you're from Arizona, especially from Glendale or the surrounding area, you know what shop I'm talking about. There is a really strange like spirit store. You go in there, they have Ouija boards, they have different candles, different sage, different like things to burn, weird books, like just crazy things, and it's just weird. But I went in there. I've never went in there because my mom would always say, don't go in there. Don't go in there. That shit is full of brujeria. Do not go in there. You're not a bruja. You act like a witch sometimes, but bitch, you're not a witch. So I would make sure I never went in there. But this particular day, I was feeling very bold, and I had someone hyping me up. So I was like, bitch, let's go in. So we go inside, and I ended up purchasing a spirit board and some sage just in case, because I wanted to kind of like clear my house afterwards, which bitch, it didn't work. So we take the spirit board back to my house and we proceed to play with it. Now, I went to IKEA previously, so I had like a big set of like different colored candles and different things. So I kind of like set them all up around the Ouija board, and we started to play the game. Now, the weird thing is, we were sitting there for probably about 30 minutes to an hour trying to contact somebody, but the entire time nothing was happening. And I know some of you are like, did I just sit through 5 minutes of this video for her to say nothing happened? hold on. When we were playing the actual game, nothing happened. And this is where I fucked up. And this is why I tell you guys not to mess with stuff like this. This is why I tell you guys on You Now, when you guys ask, like, have you ever played the Ouija board? And I'm like, don't play with it, you guys. Like, I just avert the question. I'm like, just don't play with it. And if you do play with it, always say goodbye. Because guess what? Because we didn't get in contact with anybody, we didn't say goodbye. And even if you don't talk to anyone, there could be someone still lingering around. And by someone, I mean angel, demon, anything could still be lingering around, but not wanting to talk. So the fact that we didn't say goodbye was a very, very stupid move on our part, because I have seen the movies. I have seen all the Ouija board movies, like all that, those flop shit movies. And I still did not say goodbye, even though the main character is always like, if you're gonna do it, be sure to say goodbye, because they won't leave if you don't. And I did not fucking listen. So we just put it back in the box, and I was like, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm going to throw it away. It didn't work. So what did I do? I put it in my trash can and I threw it away. Now the first night, nothing weird really happened, nothing strange to me. My friend spent the night and then she eventually went back home, and I also had a dog at this time. I had a little husky, and he is what kind of like made me notice things were starting to go wrong. He would sleep through the night most of the time. He would not have any problems, any issues. He would just use the bathroom outside and then come inside and go to sleep. But it started to get really bad to where he would just wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and just start howling. He would just be like crying as if someone was hurting him. Like, I'm in my bed right here and he's on the floor or underneath my bed, because for some reason he always slept under my bed. He would just be down there just crying and yelping, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? It would wake me up and I'd be like, oh my gosh, what's wrong, baby? Like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? And he would just be crying. So I took him to the vet because I thought something might have been wrong. Like, is he in pain or something? And they're like, nah, he's fine, fam. But it would always happen late at night. He would not be able to sleep through the night. He would just wake up crying, and I didn't know what was going on. In one instance, I left my house to go get lunch with my mom, and when I came back, I always would put him inside of his little like kennel thing, or I would put him in the backyard so he could just kind of like run around and play with his toys and stuff. But this particular night, I put him in his little cage kennel, crate, whatever, they're called crates. So I put him in that, and I came back home one day and he was just in the corner of it, like with his hands like over his face, like hiding in his paws, whimpering. And I opened the thing, and usually when you open it up, the dog is so happy to see you, they're so excited and they run out. But he was just in fear in the corner. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? Like, I picked him up out of it and I was like, what's wrong? And he was like holding me. Like, I know it's so weird, like this probably sounds so strange, like how does a dog hold you? But like, he was like nestling in me, like he was like scared for his fucking life. Now, not only was my dog fearing for his life at this point, other shit started to happen. It was like it gradually got worse and worse and worse. If you watched me on You Now back then, like you would hear that I was like telling you guys about like creepy situations and like creepy things that kind of happened. But there was this one instance when I pulled out all my candles. I'm a candle fanatic, you guys. Like, I have so many candles everywhere. Like, if you just look in front of me, you see at least 8 to 10 candles. Like, I just love Bath & Body Works candles, Urban Outfitters candles. I just love for it to smell good. Because it was around December time, it was very cool outside, so I didn't have to run the AC, because where I had my house, it was probably, I would say, like 5 minutes from the mountains, so it was pretty cool in that area, so I didn't have to run my AC all the time, and I didn't have to run the fan, so neither of those were on, and I just lit my candles just so it can kind of like make the place smell really good, make it feel very fresh. And I went upstairs to go and like handle some stuff, do what I was doing. I was probably filming a video or something. Honestly, I don't remember exactly at the moment, and I'm not gonna just make something up. I don't know what I was doing exactly, but I remember I lit my candles, and I know you're not supposed to like leave the home or leave the room when you have like candles lit, especially with the dog, because bitch, he might knock them over. But I didn't really think about that at the moment, so I just left my candles on downstairs, went upstairs, came back down, and all of the candles were blown out. Now, like I said, I did not have the AC running, I did not have the fan on. I made sure of both of those things, but all of the candles were blown out. Now, I had some in the kitchen, I had some in the living room, one by my little side table next to my couch, but all of the candles were blown out. So of course I'm like, what the fuck, like, okay, I'm just trying to make it smell good. Why did all of the candles just blow out. Of course it freaked me out, but I didn't try to think too much of it. I just lit all of them again, and then I sat on the couch and watched TV, and they stayed on. Now the next weird part is the power outages. Now I was in contact with both of my neighbors on my right side and on my left side. More my left side because his daughter sold Girl Scout cookies, so I was like, come through. Now the power outages would happen very late at night. I am a night owl, so I will probably sleep until like, at this time, I was very lazy, so I would probably sleep until like noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I would spend the entire afternoon and nighttime being awake, and then I would go to bed at like 4 or 5 in the morning because I don't know, I was just a night owl. So that's the only way that I like noticed these things were happening. So I would be sitting on my couch watching TV. At the time, I was very much obsessed with watching anime. I don't know why, like I just was obsessed with anime. So I would just be sitting there watching full series just for hours and hours and hours. So I would just have a couple lights on just because like I had my dog, so I also had my cats, so I didn't want them to just be like roaming around in the dark or anything. So I would just be sitting there watching TV, and then all of a sudden the TV would shut off and all the lights would just go out, and I'm like, the fuck? So between the span of me living there for just a couple of months, I had like 2 or 3 power outages. So when these power outages would happen, I contacted my neighbor on my left because he was a computer tech person. He worked late at night, early morning, and then he slept throughout the entire day. So I knew he would be awake, so I contacted him and said, hey, are you having a power outage as well? Because everything in my house just shut off. And keep in mind, I was texting him on my phone, so yes, my phone was still on, so nobody gets confused. So I was texting him and I was like, hey, did all your stuff just turn off? And he's like, no, like, my stuff is still on, everything is still running. Do you know what happened? I was like, no, like I was just watching TV and everything just shut off out of nowhere. And he's like, this is where the power box is in your house, because I was in like a community where all the houses kind of looked alike, so everything was kind of placed similar. So I went where he told me, upstairs into a room, and I turned on and off the power switch and nothing happened. And he said, did you know that your the lights outside of the garage, like you know when you pull up to the garage, there's the 2 lights on the side? He's like, those are still on. So I don't think you had like a power outage, because if you did, all of the electricity to the entire house would be shut off. So I was like, that's really weird. So why did everything just like turn off indoors, but outside those were still on? You know, it didn't really make sense to me. So the first time it happened, I just went to sleep afterwards because I was like, you know what, it's nighttime already. I'm just gonna go to bed, and maybe if there's still a problem, I will call the person who leased the house to me and see if they can fix it. I woke up the next morning and everything was back on and it was all back to normal. So I was like, okay, maybe this is okay and this is normal, maybe it just happens. But the second time it happened, my dog at the time, Frodo, he literally started barking, and then after he started barking, the lights shut off. And like I said, we were just watching TV. Like, this was my thing. Like, you could ask any of my friends, this is all I did late at night. I would watch anime. Like, that's all I did. So I'm over here minding my business, and late again, between 2 to 3 o'clock, the whole lights shut off. But this time my dog barked before. Like, he was asleep, and all of a sudden he just woke up out of nowhere, started barking, and the lights, boom, gone. So me, because yes, I did mess with stuff in the past, and I did, you know, have contact with, you know, spirits and stuff, I was like, literally, if you're like turning off my power and messing with me, can you stop? Like, can you legit like chill out and cut this shit out? Because it's not cute, it's not funny. The lights turned back on. So that scared the shit out of me. I tried to call my mama, and she didn't pick up the phone because obviously it was late and she was asleep. But I was like, okay, cool, there's something in here. So that's when I took the sage that I bought from that spirit store and I tried to sage my house. Nothing happened. It just felt more stuffy from the smoke. And to be honest, like, I'm not gonna like lie to you guys, like I really don't really remember what happened the third time that the lights went out. I just remember that they did go out a third time, but I can't really like tell you what happened because like for some reason I just don't remember. And around this time is when all of my night terrors came back. I usually have pretty good dreams. I am a lucid dreamer, so I can kind of control my dreams and what's going on in my mind when I'm asleep, which is really interesting. Like, I looked it up on YouTube and I figured out how to do it, and I did it. So typically I can control my dreams, and typically I have very positive, good dreams. I don't dream of like scary demon shit, and this is when the night terrors started to happen. I was seeing really like scary shit. Like, I was dying in my dreams. I know a lot of people say like you can't die in your dream. Like, if you like jump off a building, you'll wake up before you hit the ground. But no, like I was actually like hitting the ground or being shot, or like things were happening to me, like really gruesome things, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't like nasty movies like that. I have never been a fan of Saw. I have never been a fan of like really like gruesome things, gore. That's not what I'm into. I don't like that. I am a fan of horror movies. Like, I love thrillers, I love scary movies, but I don't like that gruesome shit. So it really freaked me the fuck out. And that's when I started to see the black figure again. And this time, okay, I would close my door. I know some people are gonna think this is so mean, but like, please don't come for me. I didn't let my cats sleep in my room just because whenever they would be in my room at nighttime, I couldn't monitor them. So they would scratch up my like bed frame and like leave like the strings just like hanging. So that's why I didn't let them in there. So I didn't do it to like be mean, don't come for me. I just didn't want them to ruin my furniture. So I would always close my door at night and I would lock it because I'm a paranoid bitch, and in case someone tries to break in, bitch, the door is locked, I'm gonna hear you do the handle and then I'm gonna run. So I would always close and lock my door at nighttime, and then I would end up waking up really early in the morning and I would see the door open and I would see a shadow there, and it was really similar to the shadow that I saw when I lived in my parents' house. So I really don't know, like to this day I don't know what that shadow is. I don't know what it was. Now that I live in LA, I do still have paranormal experiences here, but since I moved here it's been more physical. So if you want to check out my other video, I'll put a little card right here if you guys want to like go watch that one. But like I said, there's gonna be a playlist, so if you want to check them all out. But since I moved here, it's been more physical. Like, bitch, I got a fork thrown at me and I have like a little scar. There's a fucking fork got thrown at me, and like I said in the video, I had a witness, so you can't come for me and say it didn't happen. Cups being thrown, shit like that, that's what happened ever since I moved out of state. But over there, it was like shadows and like seeing things. I know I'm not crazy. Well, then again, I am part Latina, so that makes me a little crazy just naturally. It's in my DNA. But like on some real ish, like no, I'm not like crazy. So I know I wasn't like just imagining these things, and I'm not like a 5-year-old. Like, you know how like you're like 5 years old and you see a scary movie, like say you watch The Grudge for the first time and you're like 5, you're gonna like be in your bathroom and just like feel like something's there just because you're paranoid because you saw a scary movie and you're really young, which you shouldn't be watching that movie at 5. But you know what I mean, like you know what I mean. So I knew I wasn't just like having things just like pop up in my head out of nowhere. And the last part I saved for the finale is probably the scariest, and this is probably gonna freak a lot of you out, and some of you are gonna view me differently after this. Some of you are gonna be like, okay, do I really want to hug you at VidCon now? There would be instances, whether I'm out in public, not even just at my house, whether I'd be out in public or at my home, at my parents' house, I'd be driving, but sometimes when I would close my eyes, and I have never told this to anybody. Like, I have never shared this on YouTube. I've never really shared this. Only that girl that I was friends with at the time that played the Ouija board with me kind of knows about this. But I never, actually a YouTuber boy that I did a video with knows about this. But I never told anyone because it's really disturbing. But sometimes when I would close my eyes, I would start to like see something in my head, and I don't even like, honestly, part of me doesn't even want to tell it because I know some people aren't gonna believe me, or they're gonna think I'm batshit crazy. But I would close my eyes and I would start to see something form, and I would start to see a face in my head. And I know that sounds really crazy, and that sounds, I hear screeching outside. Okay. Like, I'm not bullshitting you guys. I know like some of you are not going to believe me, but legit, like I would close my eyes and I would start to see something like form in my mind, and it like scared the fuck out of me because I didn't know what it was. Maybe I can't even say maybe because I don't know. To this day, I don't know. But I would close my eyes and I would see something start to form. I would see a face, and it wasn't like a human face. It was like some disfigured, like creepy ass shit. Now you're wondering, why were your eyes closed? And the thing is, I don't know. I would just be like chilling, and then something would just tell me close your eyes, and I would close my eyes and I would just see something. Like I would just see something in my head, and I would always open my eyes like right away when I started to see something, because I'd be like, what the fuck? Ooh, do I have a vision? Like what just happened? But one time I let myself actually see it, and it actually brought me to tears, and my eyes are getting really watery now because it actually really did scare the fuck out of me. And I do think about this, and sometimes I do have dreams about this, but like legit, the one time I actually closed my eyes and I kind of like communicated, I guess. Like, I don't know, I felt like something was trying to speak to me through my mind. Like, I know it sounds batshit insane, but I saw something, and I actually saw something, and I heard things in my head, and now I really sound schizophrenic or something. insane. But that one time I actually heard something and it was like whispering to me, and I opened my eyes and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That was the last time I ever did that. I have never tried to like contact or try to like get in touch with whatever I was seeing or whatever that was. Like, I never tried it again. Now, when I moved here to LA, I had started to get like a weird feeling. I started to like get like a sense that something was like different again. And even my friend Ashley would come inside, and she's very like spiritual, all that stuff. So she would come in and be like, I feel a heavy presence. Like, I feel negativity. I feel like something dark in here, and it doesn't feel good, dude. Like, it doesn't feel good. And that's kind of when the psychic twins came in and they did their like little ritual and stuff. And they kind of like cleared the air, and it did feel a little bit better afterwards, but it didn't feel normal still, like as when I first moved in. Because like, you know when you like first walk into an apartment, it just feels very fresh, very clean. But then once I actually moved in, it started to feel very like, So it felt definitely a little bit better, and I haven't seen that like whatever was in my head like since Arizona, basically. As of today, somebody else lives in the house. Somebody else took over my lease. And the crazy thing is, nobody would rent the fucking house. Like, I moved out of it in February and I came here, and the house did not rent out till probably like May or June, dude. Like, nobody would rent the house. Like, they would go in, they'd be like, wow, the house is beautiful. But then they would just feel something weird and they would not want to take the house. So I really hope whoever does live there right now isn't having any problems, and I'm sorry if you are. Like, it's literally my fucking fault. Like, I shouldn't have messed with anything like that, but I did. I'm just gonna end this video by saying y'all need to stop messing with this. Y'all need to stop trying to talk to ghosts, because it's not funny. Like, literally, it's not funny. It's not funny. Like, I don't know how many fucking times I have to say it. It's not funny. I don't care if your favorite YouTuber did the challenge or your favorite YouTuber did the Ouija board, so that makes you think it's okay to do it. It's not okay. Like, this is some real shit that actually goes on. And when your ass gets possessed, oh my gosh, Shane Dawson played the Ouija board, so I did it too, and now I'm fucking possessed. Like, don't cry wolf, bitch, because you did it to yourself. So that is it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said for the millionth time, stop messing with stuff. Don't be me, who gave in, watched all the movies, and still decided to mess with things. Whether you believe me or not, that's up to you, but like I said, it's my life and this is stuff that has happened. I'm sure there's a lot of fake ass paranormal videos here on YouTube, but why would I say a lot of things that I said today? This is like making me look vulnerable and making me look crazy, to be honest. So like, I'm not gonna say this shit for my own health. So yeah, that's basically everything that happened. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. I will have a playlist full of all my paranormal videos down there for you as well. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Be safe. Bye.